Ooh, welcome to Ole Walls house. It's me. It's your man. It's your main man. It's Ole Walls, and I'm back with you for episode 207 coming your way today. It might be fun for some of you, but I'm going to have to relive some things from Saturday night today when I talk about my Green Bay Packers and then the rest of the NFL schedule. We're going to talk some college football playoff, some hockey, some college basketball. Saturday was a great sports viewing day. That was awesome. So fun show coming again. For some of you, probably. For others, maybe not so much. Before we do, just want to say, first of all, thank you to everybody. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the watches. Appreciate the listens. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want to support a little more, get some cool merch like this or some full range pod merch, you can check that out on the merch shop. The link is down in the show notes below. And as I mentioned, the Full Range Podcast and my guy MJ, don't forget to check him out over on Spotify at the Full Range Pod, or you can find him on the Ole Walls House YouTube channel. And as always, that housekeeping, don't forget, please rate, review, comment, subscribe, and share. Let everybody know Ole Walls House is the place to be. Without any further ado now, let's get to it. Well, we got to start with my Green Bay Packers. Yet another week, yet another disappointing finish, another blown lead. 19 points given up in overtime and the fourth quarter for the Green Bay Packers. Oh, just tough, man. Just really, really, really tough. And we should start off by, I want to start off by saying this, because this was something I thought was real stand-up, and this is the kind of guy you want on your team. Malik Willis took blame for the fourth down botch snap. I'm reading a tweet from Matt Schneidman, reporter for the Packers. Malik Willis took blame for the fourth down botch snap, said he sped up the snap count to get the snap off in time and should have let Sean Ryan know in the huddle he'd do that. That play ultimately decided the game. And someone else quote tweeted that saying, I appreciate the humility, but you're never going to get me to put even 1 ounce of blame on Malik Willis for this utter disaster of a loss. I appreciate the hell out of Malik Willis standing up there and taking ownership and saying, hey, my play was the reason we lost. I commend that man for that 100%. I'm also in agreement with, I'm not going to say there's no blame. There is some blame. He fumbled in a crucial point. It does not all fall on him in any way, shape, or form, though. The blame to him is, it was a big moment. Don't get me wrong. You got to go score there. But they marched the ball right down the throats right after that. They were up. What'd they get? They're up 13-3 going into the fourth quarter. Like, you got to win that game. You're up 16-9 with 2 minutes left. You know what you got to do? You got to field an onside kick. I got the worst flashbacks ever when that was happening. I just felt that coming. So we'll just go back to the start. Game starts slow. Packers did not allow a score in the first half. They didn't put one in the end zone themselves. I believe 0 for 3 in the first half in the red zone. And Malik was dealing when he came in. So some chippy hits early. I don't really think the one that caused Jordan Love the concussion. Obviously, here's the huge part of this game is Jordan Love goes down with a concussion in the middle of the second quarter. I don't think that hit was that dirty. Keyshawn Nixon was doing dumb shit out there too. He fucking drilled DJ Moore coming across the middle. I had sent a text to the big cat Bill Gardner in our text thread during the game. I'm like, Nixon's going to do something dumb to kill us in this game. He didn't do something dumb per se. He just got fucking roasted repeatedly. Keyshawn Nixon in the last 2 games. So actually, he's given up 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games. He's been targeted 15 times, allowing 9 receptions for 142 yards and 4 touchdowns. He does have the interception in there. He has a passer rating of 113.9 against him, and he's committed 12 penalties, a single season career high. In just the last 2 games, the passer rating allowed was against the Broncos was a 158.3. I think that's almost perfect, and 135.4 against the Bears on Saturday. We said that the the secondary was going to be a problem eventually, especially with a lack of a pass rush. It kind of felt like that came true. But there were so many things. Like I said, 0 for 3 in the red zone in the first half. I think they finished 1 for 5 in the red zone. No, they didn't score a touchdown in the red zone. Yeah. I mean, just as red zone disaster the last 2 or 3 weeks now. It's got to be, you got to fix that. There were those years, that last Rodgers run of 3 years there, where they were just dominating in the red zone. They got to the red zone. It's like, we're going to score touchdowns. We're not going to kick field goals. We're going to score touchdowns. That's what you have to do. You have to score touchdowns. McKinney drops another interception. This one, first drive of the Bears' second half. I mean, again, they're up 13-3. You can get an interception there and take it away. Nope. 7 minutes left in the third. They actually end up holding them there. Josh Jacobs fumbles on the 5-yard line. I have some questions about why that one wasn't blown dead. We saw some shit later against the Lions in the day where they weren't blowing stuff dead, and he was able to pitch it, which I actually went back and watched that one. I'll get to that more later. We'll talk about that more later. But it's like, Josh Jacobs, you got to hold on to the ball. I get it. You probably thought the play was dead. You'd been held up. You'd been starting to be pushed backwards by 2-3 yards. You would think that play was blown dead. But guess what? You got to play through. You got to play to the whistle. I mean, they're up 13-3. They're on the 5. You put it in the end zone there, it feels like it's over. They only scored 16 points in regulation. You get to 20. I've never been a great math student. Tawana education here. But 20-16 wins you the game. So, I mean, that one was the absolute, that was like a dagger, it felt like. Just felt, ugh. I mean, that was after, or sorry, was that in the third? Oh, yeah, that would have put them up 13-3. Sorry, I misread my note. That was before Malik Willis hit Romeo Doubs. That would have put them up 13-3. That was before Malik Willis hit Romeo Doubs for that night. So they got in press coverage. Willis audibled out. He'd been looking to go deep all night long, and he finally caught Doubs down there on the thing, on the audible, on the hot route. Hot route. I don't know what that means. But yeah, Malik caught a late hit from Brisker. That was a good one, and then it just comes down to they can't get off the field. They can't field an onside kick. They can't do it. I don't know when I said this. But I said this 3-4 weeks ago now. I said, it feels like the special teams is heading to a point where they're gonna hurt us. There's gonna be something that's gonna cost us a game because the special teams can't make a play, makes a bad play, gets a huge penalty, does something. I know that's broad, but it's been the MO. What did we get? We have Doubs out there whose hands are a little questionable, I would say. But it's like, hey, he played a great game up until that point. I will give him credit. I think he was the team's leading receiver. Yep, 5 receptions, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Ball hits him in the chest. I hate to be the guy sitting on the sideline and telling professional athletes what they should be able to do. But you got to field that, man. You just got to field it. You field that, the game's over. The Bears screwed up. They didn't get the field goal off before the 2-minute warning. I forget how many timeouts they had. I think at least 2. It might have been all 3. But you can put the game away there. You can put it away. Also, on the field goal one, they finally get home and they finally sack Caleb Williams. The first time in 2 games. Face mask. Just dumb things, just over and over and over and over. Oh. And this team is just so beat up. It's so frustrating. This is just the pity party. This is my pity party. I'm getting it out. Just deal with it. I know I've been probably pity partying all the way. This team's so beat up. Jenkins, Tom on the offensive line. On the defensive line, Devontae Wyatt, your best interior lineman. Micah Parsons, just an absolute game wrecker. Jordan Love's got concussion now. Josh Jacobs has been banged up. Tucker Kraft is out. Christian Watson and Jaden Reed, the best two wide receivers, spent long periods of time out this season. Watson was, banged up last week. This team actually could have been pretty damn good. Maybe the pundits had something in their head at the start of the year. I don't know. But if I could just sit here and imagine a team with Wyatt in the middle defensively, Parsons off the edge, Love at quarterback, Jacobs in the backfield, Tucker Kraft at tight end, John Fitzpatrick, by the way, Achilles, done. There's only 2 tight ends on the roster now, Musgrave and Josh Wiley. So Kraft's out, but Kraft at tight end, Reed and Watson out wide, Dobbs in there. Oh. And what are we doing with Matthew Golden, by the way? Like, what is the plan been with him? It feels like they're just using him as like a little gadget guy. It's like, I thought we went out to draft this guy to be a receiver. Not all hope is, I guess, completely lost. The Lions lose yesterday. The Packers need to win one of their remaining 2 games, and they are in the playoffs. They can actually, I think, let me look. I think this is possible. I'm going to double check here. Yeah, if they win both games and the Bears lose both games, they still win the North. Wildly. The Bears play at the 49ers, and then the Lions come to town, which not impossible for them to lose the last 2 games. Packers play Ravens at home Saturday again. This one on Peacock, I believe. And then the Vikings in the final game. And the Vikings are kind of a train wreck. The Ravens might be a train wreck. Lamar Jackson may be out. He, I guess, elected not to go in last night. I didn't watch the end of that game. I fell asleep. But it's like, whew. So you're saying there's a chance, but it's like, just win one, get to the playoffs. But again, I think this team is so banged up right now. Hey, you never know. You play the games for a reason. Maybe something can happen. I don't have a ton of hope. I mean, also, Malik Willis is also injured too. I forget, Boykin maybe is the 3rd string quarterback. Was it Boykin? I'll have to look this up. Who the 3rd string quarterback for? Oh no, Clayton Tune. Who the hell is Clayton Tune? Clayton Tune. He has been in the league. This is his 6th year in the league. Oh, no, sorry. He played 5 years at Houston in college. Threw for over almost 12,000 yards. That was 18 to 22. He spent 23 and 24 with Arizona. He did start a game in 2023 for Arizona. He went 12 of 21 for 62 yards. That's awesome. He's possibly on deck. I don't know that I've seen anything concussion protocol with Jordan Love. That stuff is so hard to gauge. I don't think we'll know anything till midweek. He is in concussion protocol, status up in the air for week 17 following concussion. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody knows anything yet. So win a game, get to the playoffs, see what could happen. So there's 2 schools of thought with the playoffs. Now, there is a very real chance that the Packers end up to 7 and the Bears could, if they could find a way to win a game or 2, end up as the 2. Because they're right now, it's the Eagles are at 10-5. The Rams are at 11-4 and behind the Seahawks. And the Seahawks have the tiebreaker there, so that'll keep the Rams back. There's a chance they hold on as the 2. And if it's Packers-Bears one more time, it's like, hey, maybe the Packers snuck one out the first time. And it's like, man, maybe that was the one thing. Like, each team's got, but it's like, man, I'd want to play them again. I think that's not a terrible matchup. I mean, the other chances like the Eagles again, I don't think you want to see them. The Panthers can't get up. It's the Eagles or the Bears. Right? Unless the Seahawks and Rams both start losing. It seems to be the Eagles and the Bears are the options. I'd rather the Bears. I would much rather the Bears. It seems almost a guarantee the Packers are getting in as the 7 if they do. The 49ers would have to lose a couple games coming home. They play the Colts tonight on Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football. So I guess that's the silver lining. I guess that's the silver lining there. Let's move on to the rest. Let's end the pity party here. Move on to the rest of the NFL. Speaking of Rams and Seahawks, what a wild game there on Thursday night. Goes into overtime. There's an absolutely wild 2-point conversion in the fourth quarter. Pass incomplete. I'm just going to read the breakdown on the internet just to give you kind of like if you didn't see it. 2-point conversion attempt. Sam Darnold steps back to pass. Pass incomplete, short middle, intended for Zach Charbonnet. It was actually off to the side. 2-point attempt fails. The replay official reviewed the tip pass, and the play was overturned. 2-point conversion attempt, Zach Charbonnet. Okay, never mind. They ruled it as a backwards pass, not a forward pass. A pitch backwards ends up going in. Just absolute craziness, but just some dudes balling out. Jackson Smith and Jigba ends up catching the game-winning touchdown. Yeah, and then the Seahawks go for 2 and win it. Smith and Jigba, 8 receptions, 96 yards, 1 touchdown, 11 carries, 100 yards for Kenneth Walker. Sam Darnold battles back in that game, had some rough moments, threw 2 interceptions, just stayed with it. Matt Stafford slinging it. How old is Matt Stafford now? He threw for 457 and 3 touchdowns. He is 37 years old, just humming the ball around. And like I said, the Seahawks take control in that division as well as the number 1 seed in the NFC. And it looks like all roads run through Seattle. Great place to have home field advantage. Eagles take care of the Commanders on Saturday. Nothing really special there. Eagles were down in that one. It was 10-7 at halftime, and then the Eagles just kind of opened it up in the second half, ended up scoring 22 second-half points. Washington scored a touchdown late in that one. Really wasn't it in doubt once we hit the fourth quarter and Saquon Barkley busted one off there. So that was pretty much all Eagles in the second half. Chargers beat the Cowboys. The last hope for the Cowboys is extinguished. They are officially eliminated. And that means there are now in the NFC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that are eliminated. A matching number over in the AFC, including the Kansas City Chiefs, who we'll get to here in a second. I just clicked on the wrong tab. Bear with me. Vikings beat the Giants. Bengals, Joey Burrow slinging the ball, 25 of 32, 309, 4 TDs. Looked like he had some fun there. Chase Brown had a touchdown on the ground, and then I believe caught, 2 touchdowns as well. Jamar Chase, 9 for 109. No touchdowns. Would have loved to see him get a few more touchdowns for my fantasy team. Didn't end up needing it. The fantasy team with Jamar Chase is heading to the Super Bowl. I had 3 teams going in the semifinals this week that had buys from the previous week. Last week, every team performed phenomenally on bye. This week, 2 of the teams did not, and they will be, I think, last time I looked, unless something weird happened. I mean, I think I needed something really big out of somebody in my dynasty league. Yeah, I fell short in that one, despite Trevor Lawrence just trying to put the team on the back. Javonte Williams didn't do much for me. St. Brown didn't do much. I had to put Slayton in. Kareem Hunt did nothing. Had to have Mark Andrews in. That team was kind of limping in there. And then my other team, my auction league team, Josh Allen, 6 points. DeAndre Swift, 8 points. Josh Jacobs, 4 points. McLaurin, 7 points. Smith and Jigba did it for me. Dallas Goedert actually did well, 11 points for him. I would have been better off with Rodgers, Keenan Allen, Monungai, and Emmanuel Wilson starting in place of Josh Allen, DeAndre Swift, Josh Jacobs, and Terry McLaurin. Just like, what do you do? Just had the week. It's like first place in that league, get the bye. But I did show up in my one. The league I had the best team in that league, most points scored by a nice margin. Showed up and did what was necessary. And I am headed to a Super Bowl showdown with friend of the program, Matt Waiter. So if you know Matt Waiter, tell him he's a loser and he's going down. The Panthers beat the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield throws a game-sealing interception. Did not play a good game. 18-26, 145 yards. Did throw a touchdown, also threw an interception. Kind of an ugly game. It was 13-10 at halftime. It ends up being 23-20. That one, like every time you looked at it on the TV, it was just like, ugh. Talk about another game. Saints-Jets. Saints-Jets. Ew. Saints dominate them. Saints jerseys were atrocious. Atrocious. The Bills just finding ways to keep winning football games. This one ugly. Like I said, Josh Allen didn't do much. 12 and 19 for 130 yards. James Cook had a nice day. 16 carries, 117 yards. Every time I looked at that game on TV, Josh Allen was just kind of scrambling around for his life. The Browns actually scored first. Shedeur Sanders threw a touchdown there. Every time I looked over at Shedeur Sanders, though, it looked like he was getting sacked. Let me see if I can see how many sacks there were. Just 3. I must have seen every single one of them live. I had that game on my 2 TV setup. That was the standalone game I had. So I had Red Zone and then that. So I don't watch little TV much. So it's not like I don't like Shedeur Sanders. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not just trying to single him out here. Just I must have literally looked over every time he got sacked. He ends up 157, 1 TD, two interceptions. It's his first year here, so like you can't write him off. I'm not a talent scout, so I'm never, gonna claim to have the crystal ball here. But when I see him, I think I see his upside is a guy who can maybe go out there and not lose you the game. He's not. I just don't see a guy that's going to go out there and win you the game. Like even Josh Allen, there were a lot of questions about Josh Allen as his first 2 or 3 years in the league. But it was like there's this raw, just talent. And he just made a lot of dumb mistakes. But it was like, what is it? Just like what's going on? Like what? There's something there, but like he can't put it together. I don't see that with Shedeur. I don't see that at all. So we'll see. Like I said, I don't know. He could be fucking awesome in like a year and a half. Who knows? Wouldn't be shocked if I was completely wrong. Titans beat the Chiefs. Gardner Minshew also goes down with a torn ACL. I saw a meme or a GIF online, or a reel online, and it's the scene from Forrest Gump of Forrest Gump and Lieutenant Dan and the ice cream. Lieutenant Dan, I got ice cream. And of course, Gardner Minshew is Forrest Gump and Pat Mahomes is Lieutenant Dan. The Jacksonville Jaguars might be for real. They go into Denver and kind of handle the Denver Broncos in the end of that game. It is tied 17-17 very early in the third quarter. From there on out, it was all Jacksonville all the time. 34-20 is the final. So are the Jags for real? There's like a path for them to get the number 1 seed somehow. They are currently 11-4. The Broncos now 12-3. The Patriots 12-3. There's like a legit path. I was reading about it. I forget all of it, but just know there's a path. Just know. Just know that. Falcons beat the Cardinals. Who cares? Texans, who was flying up everybody's. This is a really good team. They beat the Las Vegas Raiders by 2. Like, what? They go out and score first, and it's like, yep, this thing's are out. Raiders come back and score to start the second, and then you're looking over, and it's like, end of the first quarter, it's 13-7. This is going to get kind of spread open. And again, Fourth quarter, they go up 23-14. And then again, not like garbage time touchdown. 5.5 minutes left. The Raiders score. Genty busts one out for 51. It's like, I don't know. You just never know. You just never know in the NFL. Wild game. Wild game. The Pittsburgh Steelers go into Detroit and take down the Detroit Lions. Lions get up early. Back come the Steelers. Steelers are up by 12 at multiple points in the fourth quarter. Here come the Lions. They're driving. They get it down to the end zone. We get what looks to maybe be a touchdown on the final drive. Final play of the game. 7 seconds left when the play goes off. Lions, no timeouts. They can't stop the clock. They find St. Brown. Flags go flying. He catches it short of the goal. He gets driven back 3 yards. It takes 3 to 4 seconds, somewhere in that range. The Steelers players kind of let go of him. He pitches it off to Goff. Here we go. Goff goes. He goes up. Just crushed. Touchdown. Now we have flags all over the field. We have what looks to maybe be a touchdown, but if you're watching on screen, you're like, was that actually a touchdown? Wasn't that play blown dead? But there's flags all over. Tony Romo's kind of like, I think that's OPI. I think that's OPI. But then Romo and Nance won't be like, hey, if it's OPI, the game's over. So if you didn't know that, who knows? I actually did know that one. I'm usually an idiot, but here you go. I had that one covered. So we're getting all this, and then the refs are just deliberating. And then the announcement we get, and the roommate's sitting next to me, so this is a good barometer. They're like, the ruling on the field is touchdown. However, and he gives it the touchdown. The Lions fans go nuts. And then you hear, however, they can't hear it because they're cheering so loud. And then he's like, there was offensive pass interference, Therefore, the game is over. And then he's like, no touchdown. And then they take out. It's like, what the fuck was that? And Pat McAfee has been going off lately because I guess the refs contract is up. Collective bargaining is up, and he's like, oh, they did the last time they had a contract and it went to replacement refs. They came back and we don't ever get asked questions. We don't get reviewed, nothing. So he's been going off on them, but that was not their finest moment there. But wild game. That puts the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially with the loss to the Baltimore Ravens. The Steelers are now 9-6. The Ravens are 7-8. I think that would require a double Steelers loss coming home, a double Ravens win, and I don't even does that. Ravens Steelers play Sunday night or Sunday. Steelers have the Browns. So Steelers go take care of business against the Browns, and it's all over. What happened in the first Steelers Ravens game? Didn't the Steelers blow that one? Nope. The Steelers are hanging on to win that one a couple weeks ago. So beat the Browns. Steelers are in. And then last night we had the New England Patriots, who held on to beat the Baltimore Ravens. Like I said, Lamar Jackson goes out, allegedly does not come back in. The Ravens score 2 fourth quarter touchdowns after being down 24-13 and go on to win 28-14. I found an interesting little nugget on the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots, the quarterbacks they have beaten this season. Tua, Josh Allen. They split with Josh Allen. Tua and the Miami Dolphins. Spencer Rattler and the Saints. Bryce Young and the Panthers. Cam Ward. Dylan Gabriel. And they put benched on a lot of these. Tua's been benched. Spencer Rattler has been benched. Dylan Gabriel's been benched. Michael Penix. Justin Fields. Benched. Baker Mayfield. Joe Flacco. Benched. Jackson Dart. Tyler Huntley. Backup. I said bench with Joe Flacco. That was a backup. That's not a list of the best quarterbacks in the league. There have been some discussions with my friend of the program, but now sworn enemy for the week, Matt Wader, about are the Patriots fraudulent? Are they for real? Can we trust them yet? Are they good enough? I don't know, and I don't know that I still know. It's going to be very interesting to see what they can do in the playoffs, and they are headed that way, possibly as the number 1 seed. Let's just quickly do next week's games. I've been rambling for forever on the NFL. Hopefully you guys like the NFL. We got 3 Thursday games. None of them are appealing. Cowboys, Commanders, out. Lions, Vikings. Vikings are out. Lions need to win to keep hope. Broncos, Chiefs. Chiefs are starting. Maybe Chiefs are starting that Boykin guy. Who knows? Saturday, some intrigue. Texans, Chargers, 2 good teams there. We're going to see what those guys are all about. Obviously, Saturday for me, I'm very interested in what Ravens, Packers do. See if the Packers can just win a game, get to the playoffs. And then, it could line up that they may not even need to play all their guys on Sunday for a whole game. Maybe you get through a week and you don't have the whole team banged up. Bucks, Dolphins, Bucks need to win bad. Jets, Patriots, again, Patriots should cruise there. Steelers, Browns, Steelers win and in, I believe. Jags, Colts. Can the Colts we're going to see them tonight here, but the Colts are just in a free for all, obviously. We got Phil Rivers out there. They're currently 8th in the playoffs. They're at 8-6. They need a win to keep a little bit of pace with the Texans and Bills at 10-5 and 11-4. Just need some sort of win there. I've lost my tab again. Eagles, Bills on Sunday's a fun one. Seahawks, Panthers is kind of interesting. Panthers playing for the division. Seahawks playing for the number 1 seed. 49ers, Bears. A lot of intrigue for me on Sunday night. I will be keeping an eye on that one. All right. Let's get going. I've spent some time here on the NFL, so let's move on to a couple other things. A little college football playoffs now underway. Friday night we had a fun one down in Norman, Oklahoma, as Alabama goes in there and comes back against the Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma goes up 17-0. Before the half is over, it's a tie ball game. It is 17-0 right at the start of the second quarter, and then here comes Alabama, ties it up, only gives up one more score the rest of the game, ends up going on to win 34-24. A lot of critics of Alabama coming into this playoff. I don't really know that much about college football. I don't follow it that much. I thought Alabama looked like a pretty good team for a lot of part of this year, but they got dominated by Georgia in the SEC title game. Didn't fall one spot. You'll remember I might have told you. Looking to shut some people up. They might have done it a little bit. Now, that said, I am a big proponent of bad decisions can still be bad decisions by organizing committees and selection committees if there is supposed to be about the resume and the team you showed yourself to be throughout the year. If that's the criteria, then just going and winning, even if Alabama goes and wins this whole thing, hell, they deserve it. They won it. They came out. They played the games. They got the job done. That doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't a bad choice to put them in there. I say this all the time in the NCAA tournament. There's going to be a team on the bubble that's going to say, oh, they shouldn't be in. They shouldn't be seeded. This. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay. If they then go out, if that 11th seed that was one of the last ones in then goes out and makes the Sweet 16, props to them for doing it. Props for them to make plays. That doesn't mean it was the correct decision to put them in if you're supposed to earn your way in through your whole season's worth of work. Now, there can be contributing factors to that. Now, say, hey, you get in and it's like your team has come together over the year and you're like, well, they're really playing as a different. But, like, if Alabama goes on to win this, or even goes like wins another game or wins 2 games, whatever it would be, that doesn't necessarily mean that there shouldn't have been any criticism over how they were ranked coming into this. They can use it for all they want. Go for it. Put it on the billboard. But that doesn't necessarily mean that playoff performances don't necessarily mean that people were wrong to criticize poor decisions by selection committees to put teams in certain spots. That's all I said. That said, that was a fun game. A game that didn't appear to be fun for a long time had a nice, fun finish. That was Miami and Texas A&M. No points. Absolutely no points in the first half. We finally get some scoring plays coming in the second half. One single touchdown, though. One single touchdown. But then the most exciting drive was the last drive. Texas A&M, Marcel Reed coming down the field. The guy goes for 25 for 39, but he throws 2 interceptions, including the game-sealing one, as time is just ticking down. And Miami goes into Texas A&M and wins. The 2 competitive games saw the away teams go into home teams' stadiums and pick up victories. That said, more rounds of home playoff games in the college football playoff moving forward. They make it a lot more exciting. That's like one of the best things about college football is the stadium atmosphere. Why are we running away from it in the playoffs? I know bowl games. There's been talk. Maybe the bowl games should be the first games of the year. I get that's going to be a tough sell. More home playoff games in the playoff. I'm okay going down to 8 teams. 12 is fine. Does not need to be 16. 1,000% does not need to be 16. We're going to get, there's plenty of evidence why. Does not need to be 16. Rose Bowl is the national championship every year, no matter what, bar none. New Year's Day, 4 o'clock kickoff, whatever they like. Let's go. Okay. The other 2 games. Didn't need to have them. We all knew it was going to happen. Ole Miss beats Tulane 41-10. Oregon beats James Madison 51-34. James Madison scores 14 points in the third quarter. That game was over. O-V-E-R by the time that stuff happened. Didn't matter one bit. Oregon was actually up 48-13 in the third quarter. What time was that? 7:50 left in the third or 7:05. I don't know. I'm on ESPN. I don't understand the numbers. It looks like 7:05 left in the third. Does not matter one single bit. It's 48-13 and JMU scores what? 20-21, almost unanswered. There's an Oregon field goal in there. They end up covering. Props to them. But we didn't need to do this. We knew it was going to happen. There's a play to start the Oregon JMU game. And a running back or somebody's going, if you're looking at the TV, they're going up and away from you, so up the left side. And there's this fella for JMU who is probably a fucking awesome athlete. Big old fella, big old belly, and he just can't track down this running back from Oregon. There's just no chance. Never in a million years would he ever be able to run him down on the football field. And that was who they had starting out there. It's just like they're different classes of teams. They're just different classes of teams. I'm sorry. This isn't basketball where a team like that is going to hang around or win a couple games. There's going to be a time, if they keep this group of 5 thing up, a group of 5 team is going to eventually beat the 5 seed, one of these power conference teams. It's going to happen. App State beat Michigan. Like, there are upsets. Boise State wins the Fiesta Bowl. Like, that stuff's going to happen. It's not going to happen 4 times. I don't think it happens twice. This isn't college basketball where, like, you can kind of get on a run. You can get hot over a weekend, and all of a sudden you win 2 games. Well, you only have a day to scout in between. And it's not a day. They're scouting everybody, but it's like, it's not the same. Joel Klatt also said the college basketball tournament was terrible. Joel Klatt, that is your worst take ever. I don't want that in college football. Don't get me wrong. But that's a terrible take. The NCAA tournament, the first weekend of the NCAA tournament, is possibly the best sports weekend of the year. So just shove that one up your pie hole. So, all right. Coming up, New Year's Eve, Ohio State will welcome Miami in. And then New Year's Day, the Orange Bowl. What's that bowl? That's Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Cotton Bowl down there in God bless Texas. Ohio State and Miami in the Capital One. See, well, I guess it's tough because then Miami gets a home game-ish. They're probably trying to keep Miami away from the Orange Bowl. I don't know. You would think you put Texas Tech and Oregon should have been the Orange Bowl. So Texas, and Texas. See, it's my point. It's like I'm looking for ways to put these teams near home, and then Miami OSU is it's the Capital One Orange Bowl, but whatever. Yeah, because Georgia gets it. Georgia's playing in the Sugar Bowl. All right. Anyway, kicking off the day on New Year's Day, Texas Tech and Oregon. Alabama and Indiana followed up at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential, and then the All-State Sugar Bowl. So let's see. We got Oregon -1.5. Yeah, I like Oregon there. I don't dislike Alabama. Give me the points for sure. I'll take the 6.5. I could eat that, but give me the points. Indiana probably sneaks it out, but look out. Look out. Ole Miss and Georgia. Ohio State, Miami, Ohio State. So that gives us Ohio State, Georgia. I'm suing it. I'm going out on a limb. Alabama beats Indiana. We get Alabama, Oregon over in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. The Peach Bowl being one of the New Year's Six bowls always kind of befuddled me. I never remember the Peach Bowl being a big deal. I remember the Sugar Bowl. I remember the Rose Bowl. I remember the Orange Bowl. The Cotton Bowl was kind of, felt like the old-timey thing that used to matter. But I mean, the four bowls, granted, I'm a BCS era kid, so it was Orange Bowl, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Fiesta Bowl. You played in one of those. That was the big deal. So that gives us Oregon, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State on January 8th and January 9th. We'll see. We will see. Okay, let's keep this train rolling. Let's talk some Flyers quick, some Flyers hockey. Not the greatest week for the Flyers. 3 points. But the way they got there, it was like we were talking about last week, really needed to bounce back after, a 1-win but 5-point week. It was like, hey, in 4 games, it's like you need to get some wins. The Canadiens, the Sabres, the Rangers, those are winnable games. They go out and they get the job done against Canadiens. 4-1, nothing to it. Sabres Thursday, they go up 2-1. Get the doors blown off them late. Against the Rangers on Saturday, like I said, great sports day. I was watching college football playoff. I was watching UNC basketball. I was watching the Flyers. The Packers played at night. We had NFL games on it as well. Like, fun day of sports. Just a fun day. Those are the days you live for. The roommate was gone out doing some things. I was just chilling. Nothing. Just me and the dog hanging, watching sports. It was great. So they they split, and it's like, then they get the Rangers and they get up 3-1. And then they get up 4-2, and it's like, and then they blow it, and they get blanked in the shootout again. It's like Zegras has gone cold. The whole team has gone cold in the shootouts. So like, we were making hay on the shootouts, and now that's 3 shootouts in a row we've lost. And I think we've maybe scored 1 goal in those 3 shootouts. Maybe have put 1 in the net. It might be 0 for 9, or I don't even know if they've needed 9. I think there was only 2 shots on Saturday because the Rangers scored first. So it's like, man. And the worst thing about all this is like, man, it's been there for the taking. Right now, they're in 4th in the Metro Division. They are 6 points behind the Carolina Hurricanes. Okay. Whatever. Hurricanes good. You could have closed that gap a little bit. You could have held on and won one of those games in regulation. Gotten yourself an extra point. All of a sudden, you got 42 instead of, and then you only got 46. That's only 4. But either way, here's where I'm looking. So the 2 teams ahead of them are the Washington Capitals, who are at 43 points, and the New York Islanders, who are at 42 points. The Flyers have played 2 less games than both of those guys. They're at 41 points. A win tonight against the Vancouver Canucks would put them into 2nd place in the division. They currently still hold the wild card, same amount of points as the Devils and the Bruins, who will all 3 have 41. Again, the Devils have played 2 more games. The Bruins have played 3 more. They're 1 point ahead of the Florida Panthers, who they've played 1 less game than. 1 point ahead of the Ottawa Senators, who have played 1 less game than. 1 point ahead of the New York Rangers, who they've played 4 less games than. And 1 single point, or 2 points ahead of the Pittsburgh Penguins, who they've played 1 less game than. So it's like, man, through all that, it could be just they were so close to really being it. So they got the Canucks today. Then they got the Blackhawks tomorrow, going back to back, Monday, Tuesday. time is it? We are close to puck drop on Canucks Flyers. And then the Blackhawks tomorrow night. That's going to be on national TV if that game's starting at 8 o'clock in Chicago. So, how are the Canucks? How are the Canucks? Got to find the Canucks. The Canucks are not great. Only 33 points on the year. Second to last in the Pacific Division. The Blackhawks, 32 points. Last place in the Central Division out west. Win these hockey games. Win them. Gotta win these. These need to be wins these next 2 days. You got Canucks tonight, Blackhawks tomorrow, home tonight, in Chicago tomorrow. Flyers then don't come back until Sunday the 28th. So I will have actually some I will have that for next week. That'd be the Kraken, who are, I believe, a pretty good team, aren't they? Or they were. Nope, they're bad too. They're worse than the Canucks. They're the only team in the Pacific worse than the. We are facing 3 of the 4 worst teams in the Western Conference this week. This needs to be a 5-point week minimum. 6 would be ideal. Gotta make hay. Gotta make hay when the sun shines. You gotta make some hay when the sun shines. Win these games. It's all this. It's all you gotta do. That's all you got to do. We got to get that shootout. Zeegs, Big Meech, we're struggling in the shootouts. If we're going to end up in them all the time, we got to get that stuff. We were real hot, and we've been slowing down. Real hot. Now we're slowed down. Carolina pulls out a tight one against Ohio State. They were up in this game. I wish I had a thing to pay more attention to, like the running thing. They were up in this game, and then just Ohio State just kept coming. But Henry Vassar, Seth Trimble's going down, kind of stumbles, dumps it over to him, dunks it as time, like 15 seconds left, and the Heels escape with a win. Up to number 12 in the rankings, 11-1, the Heels now. So they play today. They play East Carolina. Can't imagine that one should be too close. And then Tuesday, December 30th, so they're off for a little over a week over Christmas. They returned to the court. And it is ACC time against Florida State. And then just your typical the next 2 Saturdays. Actually, the next 3. It's not all Saturdays. Let's see here. 4 of their first 6 ACC games are just against just real teams you really think of when you think of the ACC. They play Florida State, SMU, Wake Forest, Stanford, California, and Notre Dame, and even Florida State. And Florida State's been there for a while now, but they were a later addition to the ACC. But SMU, Stanford, Cal, and Notre Dame, those are all ACC regular season games. Just absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. I mean, just some of the teams they play that are in the ACC. So them, Cuse, Miami, Pitt. They play Cuse twice, actually. Louisville. Anyway. Oh, by the way, ACC Big Ten Challenge hasn't been a thing since like 2022. I kept saying that this was an ACC Big Ten Challenge game against Ohio State. Nope, that thing hasn't existed forever. It's just the ACC SEC Challenge now. When the Big Ten media rights went away from ESPN for basketball, that thing no longer existed. So there you go. I had just been completely wrong for the last however long. So, all right, let's move on. It's time for some passing thoughts. Okay, we got to start here. Joshua Paul, Anthony Joshua knocks out Jake Paul. I mean, I watched it. It still took too long to get there. Boxing cards. They actually had fights that weren't all 12-rounders. So that is the worst. When it's 4 12-round fights and you're just like, oh my God, these go on forever when you don't care who's there and there's no one in the crowd to like give there some atmosphere to it. It's like, what are we doing? There are some shorter ones on there. Even still. But you got to figure out the card. You got to adopt the UFC model. Like, we just go. Then one fight ends, get everyone out of the ring immediately. Get the 2 fighters in the ring, and let's go. Alas, we do not do that. Jake Paul comes out, starts off with Hulk Hogan, and then Tekashi 6ix9ine or whatever. I thought the guy was in jail and was maybe he's out because he's a snitch or something. Anyway, the fight was a debacle. It would be the best way to describe it, maybe. I will start by saying that props, in a way, to Jake Paul for getting in there. Like, he was never winning that fight. So props to him for doing that. Comes out with a broken jaw. I'll give him credit for that. Props to him in always for getting the bag, because he got the bag again. Like, the dude is phenomenal at that. He kind of, I think, took the Floyd Mayweather, and they're like, we're just going to be hated. People pay to see people you hate get their face punched in. I mean, that's why I was there. I wasn't paying for this on pay-per-view, but it was on Netflix, so I watched. The thing I'm not giving him props for is the way he fought the fight. It's like, if you're going to do this, just don't. Like, and again, you're making so much money, like, it's hard to be like, don't do that. But he got in there, he ran around for 4 rounds before he finally got tired. You could see it in the second round. His mouth was open, he was breathing out of his mouth. And while I didn't love Joshua's game plan of just following him around, in boxing, this thing, you don't follow, you cut off the ring. And hey, Jake Paul was not even attempting to fight in those first 3 rounds for sure. Somewhere in the 4th or 5th, he started to be like, I'm going to kind of mix it up because I have to, because I'm just gassed. But all Joshua was doing was just like a weak jab and trying to just come flying over the top or with a big hook from the right hand. It's like, no, dude, no. Just touch him. Just keep touching him. You know this. I know this. And I just kind of watch boxing. You just touch him and you touch him and you touch him. Just keep pop. Find the range. Mix in a straight right. There were no straights. No straight rights. That Brendan Schaub pointed out. He's like, Anthony Joshua did not throw a straight right. I don't even think he said the knockout. I think the knockout was a straight right. And it was like the first one he threw, just connected and boom, lights down, lights out. Down goes Paul. I think Joshua was just like, I'm going to get in there. He's going to kind of stand in one spot just long enough, and I'm just going to level this guy in the first 2 rounds. And so he kind of just went for the knockout. I don't think this is a bad representation of Anthony Joshua in any way, shape, or form. If that was any real professional boxer and they performed like that, every media pundit would have been like, this is a disgrace. So I'm not faulting Joshua for what looked like a kind of bad performance. You can't have a good performance when all the guy does is run around the ring, and then when you do touch him, he dives to the ground like he's going to single leg you. It was so weird. He finally got what was coming to him, though. Gets knocked out, gets his jaw broken. So again, props in a way to Jake Paul. I'm not going to knock the guy for taking the fight. I'm a little bit going to knock you for the way you fought it. Like, come on. But again, I don't want to go in there and stand in there with Anthony Joshua and get punched in the face. But again, this was the only way this fight was ever ending. Anthony Joshua was the unified world champ. You can talk about it being a weak area in heavyweights, whatever. He was a unified world champ. He was an Olympic. Was he a silver medalist? Maybe he medaled at the Olympics in boxing. This guy was always going to destroy Jake Paul. He's 40 pounds bigger. That was always what was going to happen. The way we got there, just go out and fight him, man. If he just went out there and went toe to toe with him and got dropped in the first round, I think more people would have been. I would have had a little bit more respect. I mean, because going in, I was like, you got to give him all the respect in the world. Coming out, I was like, still respect, and definitely respect for getting the bag. But like, what are we doing here? Okay, moving on. It got warm here, and we probably still had 8-10 inches of snow on the ground, and it was still looking nice because it'd been brutal, but it'd been cold enough that none of the snow had melted. It'd been like hanging out around zero. And so it still looked good. Like the ground was still covered with snow. It was still nice and white. I mean, granted, you had along the roads where the salt and the cinders and everything. But like if you got out, it just was all looking nice. It got warm. It all melted. Now any snow's left is kind of like that dark and grayish and it just kind of stinks. It is going to be warm. It's going to be warm for Christmas. I actually don't mind a cold, snowy Christmas. I actually like snow until like January 15th. After that, I'm ready for warmth. I'm ready for golf. I drove by the golf course today and I was like, ooh, I got the itch. I want to get back out there. Been playing a indoor golf league. I've only played twice so far. It's only 2 weeks in, but I'm like, ooh, I want to get out there, get on the real course. It's weird. I'm getting like the golf itch earlier and earlier in the winter. Usually it was like I didn't care about golf until I kind of saw it on TV. And it was like, oh, West Coast swing. So like, late January, February, March. Then I'd really I'm ready to rip right now. And I played into October this year, which is unheard of for me. Usually like September hits and the temperatures start going down at all. I'm like, I'm out. I'm done. Football's on the weekends. Like, I'm all set. I played into October, and I'm ready to go again in January. I don't know what's going on with me. I do not know what's going on. I just don't know. Just don't know if I have enough time. We got Christmas coming up. Christmas will happen in a couple of days after release of the pod. Pod's going to drop on Tuesday. Like usual, Christmas will be on Thursday. So hope everyone has a Merry Christmas, enjoys times with friends and families. Gets to give some nice gifts. Gets to get some nice gifts if that's what you want. Me, I'm a guy. I don't want gifts. You know what? If we're gonna do, let's do something together. We go out. We get a nice dinner. We get a steak. Hang out. I'd rather do that. And now, hey, I know people love giving gifts. So if you give me a gift, I appreciate it. I would just rather, you don't feel obligated to do so. I just rather, just hang out, spend time, do something with you. We'll go get a nice dinner. We get some beers, hang out, grill something, something like that. Something like that. But for those of you who love Christmas, as I said, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I said Christmas was sneaking up because the NFL was on Christmas. The NFL slate this year on Christmas is not helping that cause. Christmas, like I said, had been ticking up since the NFL just took it over. Not as much this year. Not as much this year. But I hope everyone enjoys it. But I did see something online about Christmas catalogs, like a reel about Christmas catalogs, and like the absurdity of it now that you would just go through the Christmas catalog. And I got the Sears catalog and the J.C. Penney catalog, Christmas catalogs as a kid. And I would just go to them and just read them cover to cover. And, you would circle stuff in the catalog and then like fold the page down. So when you gave it back to your parents, you'd be like, there's my list. That's what I want. Like, I didn't do like the written list to Santa Claus. Mine was just fold the page down, circle what you want on the page with a pen or a marker. Oh, when that thing came in the mail, it was so sick. You were like, I have the keys to the kingdom. This thing has everything. All the games, all the toys, anything you could want. Nowadays, it's Amazon every day. I see my nieces and nephews will just be scanning Amazon on their phone and be like, what about this, Mom? What about this, Dad? It's like, oh, there is. It's like, here you go, old man, get off my lawn time. There's something about the magic of like, hey, once a year, this special magazine with everything in it. And granted, that Sears magazine and East Bay were around. East Bay was a sick magazine, too. But it's like just that one time, the special one. And here it comes. It's got everything you could ever possibly want, and it's right there in one spot. And then the absurdity of you would like peel out the last page with like the numbers you would want and like write down the item number and send a check in the mail that would take 5 to 10 business days to get there. You would have to Christmas shop out of that thing by like November 20th. So that it could get there, they could get it and send it back to you. And then it just showed up. And you were like, holy shit, this is amazing. Now we click on our phone, it pulls from our credit card, it's at our door in 2 days. What a world. What a world we live in. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, let's go wrap this thing up. Closing time, everybody. Again, just want to say thank you to everybody. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the watches. Appreciate the listens. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, as always, to producer Kevy for helping get us started on video. Thank you to my good buddy MJ for doing his thing over at the 4 Range Podcast. Go check him out. He's on Spotify at the 4H Pod and also on the Ole Walls House YouTube channel. You can check out some of my merch or his merch in the merch shop and the link in the show notes below. Hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas. And until next week, peace.